Hi, my name is Brent. I've been doing some work on economics over the last few years, mostly didactic sorts of studies. Not trained personally in that field. I have studied in philosophy and then got particularly interested in integral philosophy. I'm trying to work on a new model, potentially, that brings together what I think a lot of youngsters in particular feel should be incorporated within some sort of value-related economic system. That is to say that a system of economics that is far more inclusive of the requirements of a being, and then makes a lot more sense out of the needs, the aspirations, and the fulfillment of what it means to be human in the early phases of the 21st century. The system that I've been working on was brought to my attention by a fellow from Integral Life, Brian O'Connell. He had a strong scientific background, and he was trying to explain to me that he believed Trialectics, which is the system I'm dealing with, is a novel mutation from the dialectical system, the Hegelian dialectics, and that it can be applied to, among other things, governance and economics. What I'm trying to be sort of working on is how this can actually merge economics and governance, so that there's no real differentiation in some sense, and that it puts a lot more power back to the people and makes sense of other things, hopefully, too. That's the intention anyways. To give you a quick breakdown in Trialectics, unlike the dialectical system where a synthesis between the thesis and the antithesis takes place, the trialectical system more deals with evolution. That is to say, not that the dialectical system doesn't necessarily, but there is this notion, sort of fundamental within trialectics, that there's a higher order system that can be brought together through the emergence properties of a tripart system, and a disintegration of the tripart system. And so it has much more of a gradient sort of nature to it, I would say. That's really rough, and even my interpretation and understanding of it is not super full. I think that if this is a reality, that it is just emerging now to some extent, and so that even our understanding of what trialectics is probably going to get more comprehensive when new mathematics and these sorts of things emerge. The particular area I've been focusing on is economics and governance, and again, this too would augment due to our understanding. That's part of the nature of this, I hope, is that we would be able to augment it as things go. So just to break it down, it's a three-part system. The first level, in a sense, is very similar to what our economic system is, namely sort of based on resources primarily, and that is to say the industry and the techno-scientific spheres. But so you don't really have to think too much about that. We all kind of know roughly what that is. That is, through achievement we can fulfill our needs. However, this one is augmented importantly by the other systems, and these I've been calling mind shares and heart shares, and this first level is sort of the resource shares. So I'll go to the other level. So the heart shares deals with primarily a form of currency that people provide to others if and when they think they have done something that is morally noteworthy. Now this is in a sense subjective, the belief that this is a morally solid position that a person is taking. and that's true. I think it is. But it provides people a reason to act morally, and the outcome or the follow through with this is that people will get more ability to provide legislation in areas of their technical expertise. So if they have been working in a particular field in the sort of resource share level, then that individual that has a high level of heart shares is more able to make legislative decisions within that domain. So this cuts out, to some major extent, the sort of legislative realm in the governance, because now it's people that are invested in a particular area of their expertise and now has ability to augment that. And again, it's done through probably a voting system, something like the internet, where people are given a particular level of heart shares to give, maybe per diem or something per year, and then they can give that to those people that they believe are worthy of those heart shares. The mind share realm, slightly different, but it deals with, it essentially deals with one's creative and capacity. And this actually is an integration, arguably, of the other two levels in a sense. Those people that are believed to have the most novelty in a particular kind of creativity in a particular field are given mind shares to enact those projects in some form, so that they can aspire to manifest them in our reality. So if somebody believes in a vision, they are given the mind shares to make that more likely a possibility, and move it forward, move the ball forward. So it's all about progression in some domain. How we can avoid perhaps some of the corruption that could seep into any of these levels, in part, not only to the division of economics connected to the division of government, which is more driven by the people in this circumstance through the voting of, through sort of internet voting, but also giving a basic level of all of these different economies, if you will, so that a person has the basic needs of the resources at their whim. They're not always struggling each day to get enough, because that's a driver of fear, right? When you don't know if you're going to have enough to feed your family, and furthermore, when you know that you're not an agent a causal agent of the suffering that we see worldwide presently, with massive starvation and so forth. If you believe, like I, that we have the basic sort of resources to feed all of us, as sort of Bucky Fuller posited in the 50s, they have to be sustained in a proper and thoughtful fashion, which again hooks back to the mind shares. That is to say that the mind shares would require of the resource share system to act sustainably. The people that are voting, that is to say, is so long as the people want that to be so, and I think it's only logical because the vast majority of us understand our own destruction if we don't, right? So we would vote for those things, those projects that we see to be the most sustainable, that would hook back into the resource share economy, because now it's driven by the mind share. The people in the mind share system are saying, okay, these are the projects that we're going to manifest within the resource share domain. So they're separated. They're domains, they're economics unto themselves, but they are connected in another order, in another way, sort of. But it allows, in my mind, the sort of different ways of phrasing this: the good, the true, and the beautiful, the I, the we, the it, objectivity, subjectivity, intersubjectivity, hands, the heart, and the mind. if it's properly coordinated, it could be perhaps a method of getting all three of those working together at the same time. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. Any sort of holes in the theory, or any holes in the theory, please respond. I hope to be dialoguing with Kurt very shortly in the Holons network to maybe see if there's any more that can come of this. Till then, blessings!